Hey guys. So yesterday was Easter, and of course I think of the subject of the crucifixion and Jesus, and I just really wanted to share this. I have for a while, but I don't know. I just now I'm doing it. So um, it's very special to me, and it's always hard to put things out for scrutiny that are precious to you, but I feel like, it's part of who I am, and it's the most important part. So, um, but this is why I believe in God. I believe in the things I believe in, and why I have a relationship with Jesus. And so I'll just go into just a tiny bit of background because it would it set us up for what happened. But I I was 15 years old when this happened. Um, excuse me, and I I had some things going on in my life that I didn't know how to handle, and they were just it was a lot for a 15-year-old. And I started kind of getting in trouble and acting out and stuff like that. And I just really just didn't care too much. I was having a good time, and you're 15, you have no concept of consequences or other people, what you're doing to them, and um, because if you're in pain, you're thinking of making yourself feel better. So, um, but I was in trouble this night. I was isolated. I was alone. I was in a situation where I couldn't reach out to anyone, and I just had to be by myself. And finally, all the weight of everything just kind of came down on me. I was 15. I think I was 14 or 15, somewhere in that area. It could have even been younger, but I didn't know how to cope with all that. I felt bad. I felt, like this is my fault. Um, I just didn't understand any of what was going on. So, but I knew it felt bad. And I remember this night, I just started losing it. I just started flipping out. I was crying. It wasn't really the crying though. I couldn't fall asleep, and I just wanted to go to sleep. I knew in my mind if I fell asleep, tomorrow was a new day, it would probably be okay. But then I thought, what's tomorrow going to change? It's just still going to be the same. Nothing is changing. So, one thought just led to another, how it gets, and I just, I was hurting bad, and it was a dark, dark place. And a kid that young shouldn't even be, dealing with that stuff at all. So I needed help, and I always wanted to know that God was real. I prayed when I was a kid. I remember there was a thunderstorm, and I said, God, if you're real, let the thunder strike right now, and I'll know you're real. And that didn't happen, but he still got to me. So this night, I was in trouble. In my soul, I was in trouble, and I remember I had tried to fall asleep for 3 hours. And so, out of desperation, I just prayed and said, God, please, if you're real, then you know how bad I'm hurting right now. And I think I'm losing my mind. Please help me, please. And then ask, please just let me fall asleep. And that second, as soon as I prayed that, I don't even think that I finished the prayer, and I was asleep. And so I fell asleep, and I had a dream Um, and in the dream, I was coming into this very large coliseum. It is the only way I can think of to describe it. It had two huge pillars. There were people everywhere. There were probably 1,000 people or so, and possibly more. But I had my hands tied behind my back, and I realized I was being led by a soldier down the aisle, through the crowd, towards a seat, a judgment seat. It was a very long staircase that had a throne at the top. And, coming into it, I didn't really know what was going on, which is scary. And, but then the people were angry, and it was just like a crazy mob of people, and they were feeding off of each other, and, it was just hatred, and I don't know how to describe it, except it was the worst heavy feeling of judgment and hatred I've ever felt. And then I started, being led through, and I was like, they're mad at me. They hate me. And they were spitting at me, and some people were calling out sins I had done. They were yelling, they were throwing things. That alone was terrifying, but not as scary as getting to the front of the aisle. So I was led up by the soldier to the front of the aisle, and I came before the throne, the chair, where the judge would sit. And he was very far up. You had to look, very far to even see him. And I knew I was just kind of, everything was, coming on me, and I was like, this is bad. I'm not getting out of this. This is unavoidable. No one is gonna, help me right now, and there's no helping myself. And I was terrified. While I stood there, I was brought there to stand. A man was led up behind me and then stopped beside me. He was also led by a soldier. His hands were tied behind his back, and I saw the soldier go up to the judge, and after he left me, and he started talking to him, and I just wanted to know what they were saying. That's was my only concern, was what they were saying to each other. And I could see, I was trying to tell by their mannerisms, or just what they were speaking. I couldn't hear anything, but I was trying to pick up on what would be happening to me. But I knew it was bad. And as I was watching the man beside me, he was looking at me, and I saw him looking at me, but I didn't care, because I was, my mind was other places, and I cared about my own, survival at that point. And I saw the judge on the throne put his hand, point to me, and he said something, and I couldn't hear anything, but I knew I had been found guilty. You're not allowed to put up a defense. You're not allowed to speak, to give explanations or reasons. That's just it. just, when he pointed to me, it was over. And so the soldier came down with his whip. He drew out a whip, and when he pulled it out, and I had been found guilty, so now, I knew I'd be punished. And when he drew his whip out, it was just so long. It just went on and on and on, and it's the worst feeling. Because well, I mean, you can imagine it. It's just the worst feeling. And he drew it back to hit me, to begin hitting me. And all of a sudden, the man beside me jumped in front of the whip. He jumped in front of me. And every single blow he took on himself. And there were many. The only time it stopped was when the soldier had exhausted himself from, he couldn't draw his arm back anymore because he was so tired from all the lashes that he had, been giving. And this man jumped in front of me, and he took every single one. I couldn't tell you how many there were. But he guarded me, and he stood in front of me, and he didn't let them hit me. And so after that, when the soldier was too tired to do anymore, and he was breathing hard, he had done it so long, he was exhausted. And after that, the man who jumped in front of me put his hand on my shoulder, and he got down on one knee. And I probably was on the ground myself, and he said, "I'll never leave you or forsake you." And those were the best words I ever heard in my life. And they still are. And of course, I believe that was Jesus, and I know it was Jesus. And the thing is that he did that for me, but he did it for you, and he did it for every single person alive. And anyway, he before had been in tattered clothes. He had like a rope belt, and it looked like burlap. It was brown, and it was dirty, and had some tears, and you wouldn't have thought he was who he was. And when he said that to me, he was beautiful and white. His robe was clean and white. The brilliance in the light was just pure white. No tears, no dirt, nothing like that. And his face, it just radiated love. There's not a color I can think of to describe it. There's no way to describe it except just pure light, and radiated total peace and love. And I didn't want to be away from him. I didn't want to wake up. I really didn't. But I did. And that has never left me. I needed to know that. And if you ever wonder how valuable you are, you're that valuable. He did that for me, he did it for you, he did it for everyone. And there's no more love. That there could never be more love than that. And I took from the robe that I took a lot of things from the robe. We're so tattered and torn and have so many holes, and you know, even the best life isn't going to be totally spotless. But he makes this brilliant white, pure thing. And it's nothing like it was before. Nothing, nothing, nothing like that. Also, that he was right there beside me the whole time. I just didn't bother to look at him because I was more concerned about myself. And so, you know, I took that from that. I'll never forget that. I woke up, I went to sleep questioning, and I went to sleep one way, and I woke up totally convinced I'll never know anything more. Nothing to me is truer than that, and that has been, a long time ago that happened. Um, but I just wanted to share that because it is the story of all of us. It's every single one of us. We've done things and we need help. There's trouble we can't get out of. Um, and to see how valuable we are, because if we weren't, he would not have done that for us. So that's why Easter is important to me. That's why my faith is important to me, and that's definitely why I believe in God, and he has proven himself to me beyond a shadow of a doubt. And I would hope that anybody who has any kind of doubt or ever did, go to him, ask and you shall receive. I'm really glad I could share this, and I hope that it helps someone. And you guys have a good holiday, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.